Hello guys, my name is Sabina and today we're gonna discuss a movie, and I think I really wanted to add something something like that to my content and just discuss some random movies about relationships and how I see these movies, what kind of problems we might see, what kind of psychological problems we might see in these movies. And yeah, today we're gonna discuss this famous movie which is called Indecent Proposal. Actually, I never saw this movie, and I watched this movie recently, and I really like this movie, really. But I got so disappointed at the end, because the end of this movie was, I think the end was not real. So so I really wanted to discuss about this movie because I see a lot of problems. And I think this movie really interesting, but not realistic. But let's be honest. I think in the end of all relationships between David and Diana, I see not two grown people. I just see a mother and son. So let's talk clearly here. I see that in the beginning there were just two teenagers that fell in love with each other, and they were so blind. Especially Diana was so blind because she just fell in love with him, with David. Was so, too fast to get married. I think that's why their parents were completely disagree with this marriage. So after what we see in the picture, that Diana, she worked all day and all night, and I think she kind of provide David and this family, and that's why they never had kids. Not because they just young to have some. No, just because I see that Diana, she did all work that men's supposed to do. And then I see how David wanna be an architect, and Diana, she always motivated him to do something. And this house that David started to build, I think without Diana, David would never do something like this, because David, he was just a little boy.
I graduated from architecture school and got a job at a small firm. Diana helped support us by selling real estate. I spent all of my free time working on a design of my own. Summed up everything about architecture that really mattered to me. It was my dream house.
He acted like a boy. He never acted like a man. And what we see in the picture, Diana wasn't just a beautiful doll. Diana was a woman. That type of woman that have everything inside. I think that kind of women, they so alive. They have a part of energy that making everything shines around her. And you feel the energy, so tasty, so beautiful. She, even if she wearing something casual, she still looks so shine. She still shine. And I think that's why David tried to, I think the only thing the only special in the David was her wife. And that's why he always was like kind of obsessed of her. He always tried to hug her around other people, kiss her, and she always was like that, because I think around them was a kind of like obsession, and you might see that Diana addicted to intimacy. See, there's a lot of women that addicted to sex. If you're addicted to something like this, you will choose only partner that you want, based on your lust. And you never choose someone based on your, on your needs, based on other things. So they choose each other only based on their lust, passion. That's what was the purpose of their marriage. And when you're just teenager, of course, for you, this chemical trick that make you reproduce, make you think that this is love, and you think I'm in love, but it's not love. Okay, that's why marriage is supposed to be based on something material, on something stable, not on your emotions, feelings, not on these things. Okay. And you might see that David, he's not a grown man, masculine man. He's just a young boy, little boy. He couldn't solve his problems in his own, and he was suffer because of that. And every time Diana, she started to feel like she need to help him, start to feel like she has to help him, because when women stuck in a relationship with men who can't solve his own problems, you start to feel guilty that you can't help him. And I know these feelings. It feels so clearly that that's your fault and you have to do something. And that's why Diana started to feel like his mother. Little by little, you become like his mother. You're trying to motivate him. You're trying to give him something to help him financially even. But that's so embarrassing. Helping your man financially is the same thing if you're gonna say him that I know that you're not gonna solve your problem. I know that you're not a man and you can barely solve your own problems. That's why I'm gonna help you. So that's embarrassing for masculine men. That's so embarrassing, taking something from women. But for David, that was okay, because he was just a little boy.
He used to take his clothes off and leave them on the floor. It made me crazy.
What do you think this is, huh? Look, your shoes on the table?
What is the
I don't need to do your fucking laundry.
Honey, I'll pick it up. You don't have to get
Oh, look
violent
at
on
this,
me.
huh?
Oh, no. You put that down,
That's
honey.
here?
That is serious. You're gonna hurt somebody with
Oh,
that.
hurt somebody, huh?
And what I see in this picture, Diana was like a mother for David, and little by little, she started to think that David wasn't her right choice. He wasn't the right choice, and subconsciously, women, they always felt that this man was my fault, wasn't my right choice. At first, I see the picture when they met John, when she met John in a store where she wanted to buy a dress, and John suggests her to buy this dress. And she's like, you can buy a dress, but you can buy me.
Why don't you put it on? It suits you.
Well, I can't afford it.
That's too bad.
Yep.
I think it's a kind of a thing that a lot of women, they like to pretend that you can buy me. No one buying you. I mean, that just dress. You're not a slave, okay? So no one can buy you, even if some man suggests you money for intimacy. He can't buy you. He buying the intimacy, the chance being with you, but not you, okay? So no one can buy you if you're not a slave, okay?
I really think you ought to have the dress. Let me buy it for you.
You want to buy me this dress?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I've enjoyed watching you. You've earned it.
The dress is for sale. I'm not.
And then he's just like, he wanted to show him that you can buy me, you can afford me, you know, like I am the boss here. And she kind of have this mother vibes, you know, and that's why for John that was like a kind of really interesting thing, that he started to want her even more after this, you know. For men, for that type of man like John, he was a billionaire, like they like to solve something really hard things, you know, to get something that no one can get it, you know. For him, she becomes so interesting because he couldn't get her so easy, you know. And he's like, when he said that, I would never believe that someone might be happy without anything, just like that. And Diana said, but I am happy. And that's really interesting when she said, but I'm happy with David. We happy. And Diana was really happy. You know why? Because Diana, that type of people who have...
Tell me, where do you see yourself in, say, 10 years?
Well, I wouldn't mind being a billionaire like yourself.
No, nice shot. I mean beyond money. What would satisfy you completely? Let you sleep well at night?
What, are you saying you're not satisfied?
Who is?
I am.
She mean it?
I hope so.
Well then.
And Diana was really happy. You know why? Because Diana, that type of people who happy, and her happiness doesn't depend on something, on things, you know. Because a lot of people, they make themselves addicted to something, you know. They make their happiness depend on money, on some materialistic things, you know, on intimacy, on relationships. But Diana was the person who always happy without anyone, you know, which is mean if she have money, she happy, and if she couldn't get this money, she also happy. She were happy just like that, you know. And that's the skill, being happy besides anything. Like, it doesn't matter what happened in my life, I'm still so happy. I'm still happy to live just like that. And that's really interesting because now I understand, like, someday I have money and another day I just spend all my money, and I'm like, Sabina, and you want to be sad just because you spend your money? But no, why I should be sad? Just I spend my money and buy things that I want. Okay, now I don't have any, but it doesn't matter. Still I have things that I bought for myself, you know. Still I could afford those things. Yeah, I spend my money, and what's wrong with this? I could get money again. I can make money again. I can earn money. That's not your happiness. It's not the thing to be, it's not the point to be sad, you know. It's not the point to be devastated. It's just like that. And someday you're happy with your boyfriend, you're happy with your man, you go on dates, and another day you see that you doesn't have this opportunity. It doesn't matter, you know. So your happiness should not depend from other people, and should not depend from money or some things. When you become so you become so independent, when your happiness not depend from things, you become really independent because you're happy no matter what. So Diana was that type of person, that happy no matter what. She was happy no matter what. And you see in this scene when John suggests money to have one night with Diana, he was so I see that it's not like he was so rude, because if he just talk with Diana and suggest this money to Diana. But no, what he did is he suggested this money to David. And now you might see how masculine men talk. They thinking that if these women, your wife, she belongs to you, that's like your property or something. And like he never asked Diana, do you want to be with me, do you want to sleep with me? No, he suggested money and he asked her husband. It's like it's just like Diana belonged to her husband, to David, but that's not. That's not true. But David was like, he was so surprised because David was broke. I mean, it's really sounds so rude, but David was like, he doesn't have anything to give to Diana, and David knew that he doesn't deserve her.
Suppose I were to offer you $1 million for one night with your wife.
I'd assume you're kidding.
Let's pretend I'm not. What would you say?
He'd tell you to go to hell.
I didn't hear him.
See, just this scene, how David act. And you might see that David, he just surprised and he just stuck. He stuck and he couldn't say anything because David need this $1 million. David need this money. And when John suggests him this money, at first he didn't say no. And see, the reality is when you deal with broke men, with men that doesn't have anything to give you, and he couldn't even solve his problems, not even yours, I mean just, he couldn't even solve his problems. He would always think about how to solve his problems. And he would never think about you. And, you know, I think Diana saw his face, how he react to this suggestion. And John see this. The reality is David was ready to sell his wife. David was ready to sell his wife. Literally, he was ready to do this. That's why he just stuck like this. But then he's like, no, I would never do this. But when they came home and Diana said, Diana become like his mother. Diana again start to act like his mother.
David, I think you want me to do it.
What are you talking about?
You could finish your house. You could pay your dad back. Get rid of our debts. After all, that wouldn't mean anything. It's just my body. It's not my mind. It's not my heart.
You think we could do something like that?
He started to say, but you need this money, and it just one night, just one little night, it doesn't mean anything, you know. And I think when Diana said this to David, she just wanted to check him. She just wanted to see what happens. And I think she gets so disappointing when David agreed her to sleep with John, because that's embarrassing for men. I think I would always also ask if I would marry, I would also ask my husband like to check him, because real men would never give a chance to think about this. Real men would just give you $1 million and said, you know what? Here's $1 million. Here's your $1 million. You're not gonna sleep with anyone. What Diana did, she just wanted to help him. And she never wanted this money, because at the end of the day, Diana said that I don't need this money and I would just give this money to David. She literally gave this money to David. And I was so surprised and shocked. I'm like, how dare you giving this money to a man who literally sold you? And as a man?
Green. Oh, hi, Di.
I'm not here.
Yeah, he's right here. You want to speak to him?
No, I don't want to talk to him.
Look, sweetie. He loves you. You love him. I mean, you gotta try and work this out. It's all pretty simple, right? This is a deal even I can't screw up.
Tell him he can keep the money. I don't want any of it.
Like, you have no standards, you have nothing, no self-respect. For David, that's embarrassing. For Diana, she just wanted to help him. And I think a part of Diana knew that David was the wrong choice. Immediately. All women understand when a man cannot solve his problems, that's a wrong choice. And that's why you see that after this, after they have a night, after the night with John, they came back to home, and where you see that Diana and David could not trust each other, and they cannot feel this passion anymore. You know why? Because David saw a mother in Diana's face, and Diana saw him like a son. When you start help grown men, you feel like you his mother, you know. That's just reality. And I think David just start act like a victim because he knew that John was real masculine man that Diana deserved. Diana literally deserved the best, and David would never give her something, you know, because he's not a grown man. And he started arguing with her, and he started acting like a victim. That's the reality. I mean, in this situationship, Diana is victim because you sold your wife.
All right, I'll tell
I
you.
mean,
You know what? The man
who's
was
the
a
victim
fucking
here,
stallion,
Money?
David.
But
Is that what you
I
want me to say?
mean,
We did it all night long. Does
David
that do it for you?
didn't do anything to solve his
Yeah,
own
the fucking
problems,
truth.
and then
You want
he
me to lie. You
like
want me to
start
say
like
these awful- you know what?
he then
I'm
he
saying these awful, and you won't believe me. How can I win?
and then he's like he started act like a victim, but you're not a victim here. That's so embarrassing, and that just, I mean,
Can you just tell me that?
broke men have
What
the
are you hesitating
audacity
for? Just
act
tell me,
like
was he
a
good?
victim.
Was he good? Was he good?
Having the audacity act like a victim. I mean, you're not a victim here. No one fucked you for $1 million.
David.
Don't you tell me it was just sex, because you were attracted to him all along, you know that's
Bullshit. David, I did it for you.
Don't you tell me you did it for me, you did it for yourself.
It's not. It's a
You
lie.
were dying to do it.
It's a lie. I would never do this for myself. It was all for you.
Don't lie to me! You were attracted to him!
And I think a part of David, he starts so jealous to Diana, because I see a lot of men that doesn't have anything to give women. They would always so jealous. I don't know why. I know why. Because see that in the reality, if you're women, it's so easy for you to solve your own problems, to get money. In the reality, I would say true. What happened to me recently, it's so easy to get money. Just, you don't need to sleep with anyone. You don't need to sleep with someone. It's so easy for women to do something. For men, it's also easy, but you need to work, you know. But if you're beautiful women, if you're pretty and you're smart, you can get everything you want. That's true. You know, recently, I was trying to come back from the big city to mine. The distance is not really big, but you know, see what happens. The train's stuck, and I always get from, you know, there is a lot of district between my city and another city and the capital of my country, and there's a lot of districts, a little districts, and suddenly we just the train stuck in the one district that was near to my city, but I'd never be there, and it's like just little district, and I was so afraid. I was like so I don't know, just terrified. I'm like, what happens? And the policeman said that just today this train, yeah, not gonna go anywhere. And we just was another man. There was another man. He was, I think he was really young man. Go to my city. He also living here, and I asked him like, do you know how to find the way? Because I'm never with there, and I don't know where I have to go. Help me. And he's like, oh, you live in the city? I'm like, yeah, I live in the city. And he's like, okay, let's go with me. And then he asked a taxi, and he paid for everything. We go. He just literally took my hand, and we go, and helped me to, you know, to come back my home. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I didn't pay for anything. But he's like, I asked him, do I need to pay for something? And he's like, no, you don't have to. Just didn't even ask for my number. I mean, he just helped me. See, in the reality, I see John, he is really narcissist. He's so narcissistic, and in the reality, he suggests this money to David at first, not because he really wants Diana, not because he really likes Diana, just because he wanna make sure that he was right. That because at first you might remember what he said. He said that he could barely buy everyone and anything he wants, that money solve all problems, and with money he can get everything he wants. And he want to be sure that he is right, because if a man suggests you 1 million, be sure that he have more, well, a lot. Be sure, because men always suggest you that kind of money, amount of money that not important for him, you know, that not really, he does not care about this amount of money, you know. For him, this amount of money, it's not a big deal, you know. When men start to invest in you a big amount of money, you become so important for him, really important for him, because I mean, it's like just he invests money, and of course he's gonna chasing you. He's gonna chase you because he literally chases money, you know. It's the same thing if he's bought a luxurious car, like I don't know, and he would spend a lot of money, and imagine someone would steal his car. I mean, it's like Diana make a mistake when she just slept with him for 1 million. And the reality, what she start to do, if David when David agreed her to sleep with John, I immediately get a divorce and would never cheat. I mean, here's the thing, cheating, it's a kind of dirty things, because you choose your husband. It doesn't matter how broke he is, it doesn't matter how bad he is, but you choose. That's your choice. I mean, it doesn't matter even if your husband look like this, that's your choice, you know. So you respect, it's not about respecting him. Okay, he might be so bad. It's about respecting you and your choice, respecting yourself. If you respect yourself, you respect your choice, and it's even not about loyalty, you know. So you say that you cannot be with this person. He literally agree you to sleep with another man just for money, you know. Like, I mean, it's so embarrassing, and you cannot trust someone. You cannot trust him anymore, and then be sure that you get a divorce. And after this, you can do everything. After this, you can go and date another man, you know, because See, in the reality, I noticed that a lot of women and men also, they talk back, they talk bad things, they say bad things about their ex. That his ex or her ex was so bad, he was so, I don't know, he was a bad person, or he was broke and he treated you so bad. In the reality, when you talk bad things about your ex, imagine someone asking you about your ex and you're like, oh my god, he was so broke, he never helped me, he cheated on me, he was a disaster. That feels like you hate yourself. I mean, no one would respect you if you hate your choice, because you choose someone who hates you. You choose someone who treats you bad. You choose someone who's gonna sell you just for money because he needs to solve his problems. And that's that's embarrassing. And I would immediately get a divorce. So because that's embarrassing for women. See, that's why I always recommended never deal with broke men. They would always sell you. They would always try to do something with you because they're so pathetic. I mean, being so pathetic because you cannot solve your own problems. And in the reality, no one would suggest you $1 million just to sleep with your wife. But you know what happens? Someone would suggest to your wife $1 million to sleep with her, to get her. And here's the things. When you deal with men that have nothing to give, you become so attractive to another man. Because and you become in danger. You're not safe because everyone might just steal you. Everyone might get you. And I think men are supposed to know that every man would think how to steal your wife. Because subconsciously all men feel that this man doesn't deserve women like her. He cannot provide her, he cannot handle her. And every man would try to steal your wife or your girlfriend, doesn't matter. Every man would suggest something to your girlfriend. If you're not gonna give something to your women, don't worry. Another man will suggest her. Another man will give her something what she wants. That's in the reality. That's how it's working. And I swear to you, that's how it's working. Because I did multiple guys. And you know what I see? If one man cannot give me what I want, another man gives me even more than I wanted. Even more. I mean, with each man that I date, I see just that my standards not really high. I see that just something what I want is the bare things. But back then I was thinking that I have huge standards, like this is really so big. Just because I date wrong man, Now what kind of men I date, they like, oh, that's normal thing. I mean, I will give you what you want. Just be with me. And in the end, when Diana really leaves David, she really leaves David and she starts to live with John, date him. That was really a right choice. That was her right choice because John and Diana, they look so good together. I think that was a really good match because Diana energy was so, I think she really literally shined like a queen. And John was a real masculine man because of what he tell her when they was on a boat, yacht.
And if you were mine, I wouldn't share you with anyone.
That's the type of words that all women wanted to hear. That you're mine and that would never would give you anyone, even if someone would pays me more, and that's how working. Now you might check your man. Now you might check your man, because a lot of men, they so mad. They become so mad. I mean, they literally so jealous. They're like, so if some man would gives you $1 million, you would leave me, right? Honey, but if some man would gives you $1 million just to be with me, would you agree? Would you leave me, honey? And I swear you, broke man would leave you just for 1 million. So, and what happens at the end? I think Diana, she's so emotional. And here's the thing, when you're so emotional and you're addicted to intimacy, you cannot barely think. You cannot use your brain. You cannot see what's really beneficial for you and what's not beneficial for you. And staying with David was not beneficial for her at all. That's gonna destroy her. Because, see how many times she just wasted being with him, she become broke. And I think you'll become broke with broke men. With masculine men, you become rich and rich every single day. I mean, you become richer and richer. You would never broke. Women, I think it's really interesting, but when women lives with broke men, she become broke like him. She become unattractive, she become fat, she becomes so unhealthy. And in the end, you see that John, he supposed to lie to Diana that there was just a game and he just slept with every woman, see and checking them if they gonna sleep with him just for 1 million. And that was just a point to leave her, because he saw how hard for Diana leaving him, and he just gave her a point to leave him.
I think we should talk.
I am very happy. Shackleford, have you ever seen me like this?
Can't say that I have.
Diana's the reason.
Not for any man.
She is the best. Absolutely.
You are the best of them.
The best of them? You said I'm the best of them?
You are.
Thank you, John.
And a lot of men, they doing this, because when he said that Diana would never look at me the way how she looked at David, and the reality, that's not the type of love, that's not. And the reality, you have two different love, see, David and Diana, that wasn't healthy love, that was unhealthy love. They were just addicted to intimacy with each other, that's it. That never, that wasn't a real love. When you date a man who can give you everything you want, at first, of course you can love him at first, of course, but little by little you become so gratitude to him. That's just when you fell in love with someone based on your emotions, feelings, and your lust. That's not the same when you feel how this man take care of you, how he wanted to solve all your problems, how he loves you, and you feel like this man really take care of me. He's trying to give you everything you want. That's another type of love. This love never based on lust, on feelings, on emotions, but they gonna become little by little. You're gonna feel that you're so gratitude that you have this man in your life. You become so gratitude, and these feelings It's even more powerful than just passion, than just having intimacy. It's just more than, it's powerful more than anything. Feeling that this man really take care of you, really loves you, that's costs more than anything, believes me. And I think Diana just needed the time to be with John, and she's gonna love John another way. She's gonna love John, but another way. That would be another type of love. With David, she would never be happy the way how she deserved.
What was all that about?
I wanted to end it. She never would have looked at me the way she did at him.